Right on the side of the Nile, that is. We went from the...
How old were you there then, Grandad?
22.
Right.
Coming up 23.
And you were out in Egypt. How old were you when you went out there then? Because that's the end of the war, wasn't it?
Yes, towards the end of the war, yeah. I went out in 1940, 40. Just after the war started. Just after the invasion started in France. We were sent out.
Right.
And that Len Dowsett, Grandad met him at the garage at the bottom of Blackness Avenue. He was living on the Perth Road.
Yeah.
And they never took up. I never met him. No.
Oh, well, there we are. That was that's a long time ago. But that was on the side of the Nile there. We used to have all these gangs of kids come round. They used to come round begging for money or get people to go into the canteen and buy them things that they couldn't get. Aspirin in particular. They couldn't buy aspirin, but we could get them in our canteen, and they used to get us to go and buy things for the Egyptian lads. And girls for that matter. And that was another fellow. Oh, he was an Irish fellow. He was as Irish as they come. He really was. And that was that evening summer dress. Needed to wear long trousers during the evening so she didn't get bitten by the mosquitoes. That was in a club along by there. And that was another powerful fellow called Jack Burgess. We were all about the same age. And that was a Miss Patton, an American missionary. And she used to invite us round on a Sunday evening, go and have a cup of coffee and a cake or something like that. It was very, very pleasant. She was a very nice lady. That's the main street in Mansoura. It's a town about the size of Worcester.
Looks very quiet.
It was when that was taken, yes.
So they're good photos though, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's there is by the side of the river, by that bridge, that's a rail and road bridge. It takes railway and road bridge.
So what were you doing down there?
There in Mansoura, we had what they call an ERS, engine repair shops. They took in Pratt & Whitney radial engines from Dakotas.
Yeah.
And they were stripped right down to the last nut and bolt. Everything cleaned and checked and inspected. If it was scrap, it was scrapped, and if it was repairable, it was repaired. The cylinders were rebored, new pistons and everything fitted to them, the engines rebuilt and taken to an engine test beds outside the town and tested and put back in service.
Right.
There was only 84 of us at all. Or was it 88? Something like 84 or 88 of us. That was the total British contingent in the whole town. So we had to watch our P's and Q's a little. As you can imagine. But there we are. I remember one time, we were, just as I was about to leave there, we were running the place down, and I was doing temporary work in one of the offices there, and we got a letter come in, addressed, can't remember how it was addressed, but it was in English, and it was for somebody in the town, but we didn't know how to find them, so I had to go to the police station and try to find somebody in the police station who could speak English, who could also understand the Arabic that was written on it. When you don't speak much Arabic, it was rather difficult. We had to go and ask for the Zabit to Kalam Inglisi, an officer who spoke English. Fortunately, we found one and got rid of this letter. Then from there, I went, while I was still there, I went up and had a holiday, went on a leave. You couldn't get a leave home, and I went up into Israel. Went up, Palestine as it was at the time, went up to Tel Aviv, and around, and Jerusalem, and all around there.
It's supposed to be quite a lovely country, Israel.
Yeah,
You've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was there for a week.
Tel Aviv.
Yeah, Tel Aviv.
And the Dead Sea, I went swimming in the Dead
Yes,
Sea.
is that photo in there?
That's right.
Yes, because we were saying we remember
Yeah.
you showing us that photo.
The
That
Dead
was
Sea
in the
is
like
that was in the Dead
being
Sea.
What's
miserable.
the other
He's
one you
dying.
said you remembered?
The one of Grandad with the
fez.
fez on.
Oh, right, yeah.
Ah. But that's like to amaze us, the flying boats used to come in and land on the Dead Sea there. Used to amaze us what was on the altimeter. It was 1,000 feet below sea level.
Oh,
Yes.
of course, yeah.
So
Oh,
don't ask me what was on the altimeter,
Yeah.
'cause I don't know. But they used to come in and land there on the way into India. And we managed to get a photograph with me swimming in the water and an Empire flying boat in the background. And that was from the roof of the, see the top there?
Mm-hmm.
That's the top of a cinema, where we had that cinema, which is, this is the inside of it, and we had an old hotel that we'd taken over, and that was all our places. We didn't have any barracks or anything like
Right.
that. That's what we had, an old hotel and the cinema we lived in. That sliding roof on that, see that part there?
Yeah.
It slides over the top of that. Well, obviously the sliding roof was open that day, and see the sunlight coming in there. We had the beds all round. My bed was up there. The top bunk, one of those up there, just overlooking the thing. That was one of the a club. They used to allow us to run to this Englishman's club there. Very nice, lovely gardens and things. It's only just along the road from us. Very pleasant in the evening, that was. And that was our canteen we had in Mansoura. There's the bar and the canteen.
You got some of those in the other book.
Richard, is that the one that you remember?
So we were the taboo
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
We're having a tarbouche, as you sometimes call a fez.
Mm.
Rich calls it a Tommy Cooper hat.
Yes. So another view of the canteen. Then, after a while, when they closed down Mansoura, I moved up into a camp in the underground into the Suez area near Ismailia, where we were looking after vehicles. We had a camp absolutely full of lorries, cars, tankers, you name it, everything in the way that's got 4 wheels on or 6 wheels on. We had them by the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Some were brand new, that had never were needed, brand new ambulances that had been sent out for the army, all fully equipped and everything like that for army ambulances, and they were just stuck in the desert waiting. Nobody wanted them.
They not get shipped back.
They might have been eventually, I don't know. I wasn't there long enough to find out. And that was two of my tent mates when I was there. Then from there, that's one of the vehicles I had. That was one of the vehicles on there. A lot of American Ford V8s and things like that, which that was. It's one of my colleagues up there. And Sid Bamford, he was an idiot. He was an idiot. He really was an idiot. So he saw him coming along the road one day with a padre, and Sid goes up to him and he says, "What is he, sir?" Sid says, "What do you mean?" He said, "Look at those buttons," he said, "and try to get them polished." Sid says, "I don't have a back button." "No, that's not what I said," Sid, "but don't go about with buttons looking like that." And got away with it.
Really?
Got away
You thought
with
he'd
it.
be on a charge for that?
No, the padre's face was a picture. He'd never seen anything like this, anyone talking to the CO like this. He was only a relatively low-ranked officer at the
Yeah.
time. I say we've only got 88 on the place. He was only a flight lieutenant, but nevertheless, Sid got away with it. He'd known him for a long time. He got away with it. I think, blimey, you cheeky devil. Yeah. I'm saying, then they closed that unit, you see. Oh, that was in that was still in Mansoura, that was, before I went up the desert again. And that's all I've got in there.
Is it?
Yeah,
There's some
nothing
of you,
more in there.
some of your canteen all got up for
Yes,
Christmas.
yes, there was a
In
can.
that other book there.
No, it's in this book, yeah.
No, there's some in the other book.
See, I've
I'd
got an
say.
image of Grandad in the Dead Sea reading a newspaper.
No, you haven't.
No.
I don't know where
You
I
got
got
one
that.
of him lying back.
I
Yeah,
have
and there's
seen
that
pictures
lying
of
back.
people
yeah.
doing that,
Yeah,
but I never
no,
did.
it wasn't you.
Okay.